Well, I am back again, and I have partaken of a particular herb, and I have a feeling that if I say too much, it might be a reflection of moonlight on the water. Might be. Ever noticed how silver has always been associated with the moon? The silver light, the silver spoon, the silvery moon. Whereas gold, of course, is the sun. And I better not get sidetracked on the tangent there. It's about the silvery moon and quicksilver, colloidal silver. Man, I use that all the time. In fact, I should go and spray some up my nose. It's getting a little bit sinusy this last day or two. Spray a bit of that up there in case you think you might be getting a cold, and bam, no cold. Silver, quicksilver. If ever you turn metal into a liquid state and you allow it to spread out in something that's got sides around it, like say something you might make coins in, for example, then the metal will settle and be perfectly level. Fuck me, Dad, he's a poet. Mirror surface, silver mirror, silver, quick silver, hi ho silver, away. Who was that masked man? So yeah, it kind of proves the Earth's flat. If liquid metal becomes perfectly level, and obviously water also does, so I think we can put an end to that, basically. Yeah, I'm kind of a little bit tired of it, arguing about the flat Earth. I think there's been enough observation now in this last 18 months or almost 2 years since it's become a big thing that we can just put it to rest, and there's nothing to argue about. It still is what it is, as it is, how it is, as it's always been and always will be, regardless of what we believe in our heads of it to be. Personally, I think it's brilliant to accept and look and know that it's perfectly more or less level, except where the land comes above water level, and you get all these beautiful, beautiful nations in this fantastic world. And it's more important to care about what's actually here on it and what we can do to enhance it, how we can make it better and better. As I've said, with examples, if the sea level's rising, then fine, we'll just fight back and pump the ocean out onto the land and build the land up and keep planting more trees and stuff to build the soil so the land keeps growing, and devise ways to collect our water properly so we don't have so much erosion going back into the freaking ocean. You know, we got to stop every single waterway from carrying the soil away into the ocean just every time because we get some heavy fucking rain. We know it rains, okay? Stop letting these freaking cows and that get down to the waterways and muddy them all up so that it turns our rivers brown every time it rains. Create some sensible ways of managing water. And then you manage the land. And you fight back against this arbitrary sea level rising, which it's always been doing anyway. You fight back against it naturally because the earth is growing. It's a living being. And we're the cells of the living earth that make it grow, or we're not doing our job. We're a cancer if we're planting concrete and not building it up in steps around the waterways. Hempcrete is the way where it petrifies the stone and it'll last forever. That's what we're here to do. We're the brains of this living planet. And we're just letting it all run to shit and letting disease take over because we're not taking charge and doing what we were born to do, which is to work with our Mother Earth for her to grow and become strong and young and beautiful and full of sweet-smelling flowers and birds and bees and everything all over again. Let the honey flow. Because what you're doing at the moment ain't working. That's insanity. This is sanity, what I'm proposing. The most simple way for the earth to grow is mulch. Simple as that. All your green waste, even grow weeds to mulch them. Yeah, you can mulch everything down for more basic building blocks for the soil, for the microbes and the worms and everything to do their magic on it, and keep growing the soil. Once you pave a road or concrete over something, you know, in the sound of silence, or was it the other one? The horse with no name. Sound of silence. The horse with no name in that song. Under the cities lies a heart made of ground, but the humans will give no love. So we just have to go somewhere else. The desert seems to be calling. I don't know why. Seems like a calling. The most basic desalination plant you can make would be just a dome shell. Even if you started with a small one, the size of a Volkswagen, I don't know. It doesn't really matter what size you start with. The power of doubling means that if you build each one bigger and bigger, as you build up around in the series of domes, each one becoming more and more supportive of the next, and each next series giving more and more protection to the inner ones. Won't be long before you've got a very, very, very pure environment. And so much water using the evaporative process of purifying water, UV distillation, full distillation, distilled water, left with the byproducts of salt and sand. Anyway, I'm not going to go into a rant about technical aspects of building domes out in the desert. But if we wanted to give refugees a job, something to do, keep them occupied, or some of our unemployed youths and unemployed elderlies and unemployed people in general, give us all something to do, something to work for. And in my society, I'd pay everybody a decent living wage regardless of if they worked. But I'd give them something good and awesome to work for, give them a purpose, and reward them even extra for that if they so felt like it. There would be no taxes apart from just a simple 1% transaction tax on electronic purchases, just to encourage the good old-fashioned sale of cash where they don't have to keep a record. That can be completely off the books. No taxes on cash transactions. But any electronic FPOS transfers, which would include the living allowance, I'd just give every citizen in my world basic $100 a day living allowance, which they could use, in any of our marketplaces for electronic transactions. And they didn't have to spend the whole $100 every single day, but that'd just be a basic living allowance, just to stimulate the economy. I mean, economy only works because people are spending money in it. If people don't have money to spend and you've got all this scarcity, then the businesses don't thrive. And then the businesses can't employ people. And then you've got more people can't afford to support businesses. So you're killing your economy. If you just give the people a proper, normal, reasonable living allowance to pay their rent and their electricity and some food and some fuel and some clothing and some, so they can actually go out and look for a job and improve their lot, then all the other businesses would be starting to prosper and there'd be a lot more jobs for them to find a fucking job. It's not fucking rocket science, you pricks. You have to keep spending billions of dollars on fucking submarines when there are real people looking for real jobs. If you give the money to the people to spend on the existing businesses, which is Australia, the people, the actual living people who are Australia, give the money to them to help support the local businesses, will create more fucking jobs than building these fucking submarines overseas in the first place. For your warmongering fucking bullshit games fucking up the world. No. None of that. Fuck that. We've had enough. We want real jobs on the ground here in Australia for real people. And by giving them money to stimulate the economy from the ground up, that's how you create the jobs. It's not fucking rocket science. And stop importing bullshit from overseas. Start manufacturing back here again. Hemp. Hemp even stands for help employ many people. Hemp. Hope of the mother plant. That really works. Hop. Hop. Anyway. Hemp. It's so simple. That builds up the soil in the first place and holds it together, restructures it, produces heaps of mulch, heaps of fibre. Hemp hurd makes the best concrete when mixed with lime, and possibly with other ingredients like something from the bamboo, I reckon. Possibly even hemp stalks for strength, and a bit of local quarried sand or something. It turns into petrified stone. If you can manage waterways properly by starting to manage them with logic and nature together, not by building steep banks or dams or concrete pipes or anything, by building steps. Bottom step is where the natural flow of the water already is, and you just build up gradual steps by step by step by step by step, until by the time you've reached a really good height, there could be enough to hold a massive flow of water, if ever there was that much to begin with. or to end up with after a huge deluge, as we often get around here. But it's not going to create these flash floodings because it's all spread out gradually. Any animals or children or people or anybody unfortunate enough to fall into flood waters gets an easy, gradual way up and out without being rushed off. And you can build proper paths up and down into this for the cattle so they don't keep fucking up the fucking waterways with all the erosion they cause. And if it happens that they're not always high enough everywhere because of really massive levels of flooding, well, at least it's not going to be a big deluge of water. It'll be enough. And then on the other side, because you've built up the height, you actually do step it back down again in such a way that you create a natural barrier, because these steps are much higher and taller, to stop people or animals accidentally getting over there in the first place, except for these safe, proper level water accesses. And by stepping it like that, obviously, the soil on that side isn't getting washed away every time it bloody rains or floods. It's slowly building up because of the mulch and the manure and everything, season after season after season, that the Mother Earth is growing because we've applied ourselves with technical know-how and intelligence and a clear vision of what is best for this living Earth to do. Now you think, oh, I'm creating these artificial waterways everywhere. No, because each one of these level steps on the water side, gently sloping back downwards a bit, collects enough silt to still have all your mangroves and other ecosystems and stuff. You're creating a sensible natural environment to enhance what is already there and struggling, and you're making it so much better for them. Because each level, the things that live in the shallows and stuff can still keep adapting through the seasons. You know, you got your frogs and mosquitoes are an important part of the ecosystem. You don't really want to get rid of them because so many things depend on the mosquito. It's the number one fish food. If you got rid of the mosquito altogether, the fish would die off. You actually need to breed them. Interesting, isn't it? The things we think cause disease, spread disease, are actually the most essential part of the food chain. Because we're the disease, that's why. Until we get back to the mentality of treating Mother Earth as God herself, and that we, as God's children, are here to take care of her, especially in her old age. Yeah, she's been through a lot, and we can bring her back and nurse her through to a new golden age if we apply ourselves. Yeehaw, motherfucker. You love that term, motherfuckers. That's what true assholes, demons really are. People who are deliberately fucking up Mother Earth, clearing forests, wiping out species, pumping oil, digging up coal. None of that's necessary. We can collect methane on site just from human waste in a simple rainwater tank or something. A septic tank buried in the ground can easily be adapted to collect methane, and that can provide all the heating needs you need and cooking needs if you use it sensibly. But we need to make this electricity in far distant electric plants. Anyway, I've showed the aerosol. That solves electricity needs. If somebody can apply themselves intelligently to that one. Okay. I've got a couple of days off. That's why I'm taking it easy tonight and making a few extra rants, because I've got the next couple of days off. And I've got shitloads to do around here. So I might even go and think about where I'm going to start. It's the dawn of a golden age if we apply ourselves as God's children to taking care of her in her old age. It's coming at that time in my life too where a lot of my older relatives are starting to show the effects of aging. My poor Nana, she broke her arm the other day after she turned 102 actually. So she's had to go into nursing home care or something. But they're still hanging on to a house for now. Not going to sell it just in case she gets better and she can go back home and look after herself again. But I've got another auntie. She's been suffering with dementia for some time. She was one of my favourite aunties when I was a young fella. She's cool as. She's had this dementia for a while, and even though I suggest I might have some ideas how to help, nobody really takes me seriously. I would say, well, it can't hurt to try, you know. If vegetable juice fasting doesn't work, well, it hasn't hurt you at all. And if it does help and you detox and you get those toxic metals out of your brain and things start to repair again, especially with a bit of CBD oil or something, then... But nobody wants to listen. Nobody... They'd rather just let nature take its course and feel sorry and put it into the hands of doctors. And even though they can't do shit, they'll still make a shitload of money along the way. I think I'm going to have to go and get another beer because this one's getting warm. I have to admit though, these big ones do last a lot longer. They need to invent a stubby holder for the long necks. I know. That's something that exists. You don't have to tell me that. Anyway, I'm just wasting your time now, so I'm going. See you later.